Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Ian, your host today, and welcome back to the club, the video game book club, that is. I'm joined today with my two friends, Brian and Ryan. How you doing? How you doing, guys?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
Hello.
you guys awake on this early
Uh,
Friday morning?
we're
No.
getting there. Two good people.
Love it, love it. So it's actually been more than a week since our last episode. We have missing today is Matt. Matt is a very busy boy. He is out there changing people's lives, being a personal trainer and all that, and so he just couldn't be here because he couldn't. He's
Because he is
working
in
and he
he is
also
in
just
high
didn't have
demand.
time. Yes, he is in very high demand. But since we haven't been together in a while, what have you guys been playing other than Resident Evil 4?
Apex Legends.
There you
Yes,
go.
actually, it's either Apex Legends or I've been playing Control the past like 4 or 5 days.
Hell yeah.
Um, and if it's not those two games, I don't think I've been playing anything. Like I even stopped playing Destiny for a bit.
Oh, good, good. Speaking of Destiny, I started that Outriders demo.
Hmm.
That's kind of like that Destiny like looter shooter game, but it's more
Yeah.
like Gears of War. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna play through you can like play through the game in like with like multiple classes and stuff, just to
Yeah.
like try out all the classes. So I'm gonna try it out, and the main reason why I tried it out is because they recently announced it's gonna be on Game Pass. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
It's
then
it's
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 worth a
it's
shot.
gonna be
Yeah.
on Game Pass day one.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So I
Yeah.
was like, wow, that's sick. Other than that, just been playing more. I've been playing more Warzone, uh, of course, and I recently bought Black Ops Cold War because I didn't have it previously, but a lot of the big meta guns in Warzone are from the Black Ops era now. So
Hmm.
I bought it so I could upgrade or level up those weapons for Warzone. Um, so that's been pretty fun. I started the campaign on it. It's pretty cool. I finally got around to beating the medium, so the medium was really cool. Really enjoyed that game, and I think that's it. I believe so. I don't know. With all the new Bethesda games like bouncing onto fucking Game Pass, I jokingly messed around and downloaded fucking the original Doom on my Series X and played it on my big ass TV. And a thing about the Series X, they have something called auto HDR. So you don't, it's basically, it has like some sort of algorithm or AI in it that basically puts kind of a dumbed down kind of HDR like on games that never were made for HDR in the first place, but it still looks
Hmm.
pretty good. So you could put in like an old ass 360 game and it'll like basically put out an image that still has HDR in it, which is pretty cool and it makes it look pretty good. So I was playing the original Doom on my 4K TV with like HDR and it was very weird, but it was super cool. What about what about you, Ryan?
He just said Apex.
Oh, just Apex.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
primarily. I've been a bit busy with a lot of other stuff in life, so
Mhm.
playing a lot of Apex, spending way too much money on it.
Lamau.
So last time we left off, guys, we can just get into this. Last time we left off, we ended at 2.2 or 2-2, so now we're at 2-3. And that was right after the standoff with the Ganados with Luis inside the cabin.
With Lewis.
Lewis.
He said his name. Lu- Lewis.
I know,
Just
man.
Leon
And, and,
determined
and
to
you know
mess
what? You
around.
know what's so annoying because Leon's the person who says his name the most. So whenever I
Yeah.
think about Luis, I think Lewis, and I have to like when I say his name, I have to like think about it and make sure I say it
Yeah.
correctly and not say
It's a conscious
Lewis.
choice to say Luis
Yes.
because we are in the middle of Spain. Leon, make an effort, please.
So, um, with that, right after, let's see. So after the standoff, the player is then given a choice to go through two different paths by using a lever to open one of two gates. And the left path is consisting of a horde of Ganados, and the other path is consisting of another El Gigante. And I felt like just having an ugly zoomed in picture of the El Gigante right there.
Yeah,
But-
that's fairly horrifying.
So, do you guys remember what you chose?
I think I did the. Don't you do both?
So
No, you can do both, but
I think I did
you
both.
yeah. So what I did was I went to the path that had El Gigante, and he started running, and I just saw the little support beam that had the boulder on it,
Uh-huh.
and I thought I timed it perfectly, and I just see it slot perfectly behind him as he's running, and just enclose him with me, and I'm just like, all right, and I just turned around and left. Did not engage with that. I didn't feel like burning through all of my ammunition again, because that's what happened with the first fight.
Yeah.
Was like, it wasn't really that hard. I just burned through all of my healing and ammunition.
But then
and
you
I'm just
could have
like,
jumped on his back and actually slashed his plaga this time.
Yeah.
But then again, you went past this part from the first
yeah.
episode, so
Yeah, so I just like I remember I entered that little area, and then I don't think it triggered right away, and I turned around. Whenever I go in a new area, I test whether or not the door behind me is I can use it again,
Mhm.
and I could use it again, and the boulder slots perfectly behind him, not damaging him in the slightest.
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right, I'm going the other way, and I just turned around and I just fought the horde Goombas instead.
So you went both ways, Ryan?
Yeah, I went both ways. There was. Jeez, I remember these guys on the right, the freaking chainsaw guys,
Yeah,
because I died to them about 3 million times.
Yeah, the Bella
Uh,
sisters.
You jump down into a pit and it spawns them, and then it spawns a bunch of other dudes who are just regular guys, as well as these
Mhm.
chainsaw guys.
Yeah.
And you can throw Ashley in a little pit, and you can take care of them after that. I remember this.
Yeah, the Horde of Ganado areas is no joke. They throw a lot of fucking enemies at you. I went through both areas as well, just because there's treasure in both areas, so I just like going through both areas to grab the treasure.
Yeah,
But
I
in order
was shaking my fist at the screen when I realized that I think if you complete them, the
Uh-huh.
other path locks off. So you have to you can get both treasure. You basically just have to go through them both before you finish either of them.
Yeah.
And I felt a pang in my chest when I realized the little star on the map in between two red doors was something I was never gonna get. I don't even know what it was. It was probably like a fucking spinel or something.
The ones that pop up on the maps are more valuable than just like a spinel. It's just they're like actual like treasures that cost a good amount of money.
Damn.
But in order to get through it quickly, there's a merchant right before you go through these. I just bought an RPG and just killed the El Gigante with it because it's just one hit. and then
really?
and then I turned around and then went to the other place.
Damn.
Yeah. So, no, it's like sometimes I'm like, there's this boss up ahead. I'm just gonna buy a fucking rocket launcher and just shoot him. Then from there, after surviving one of the two paths or both paths, if you went through both, you then make your way down a long lift where you get to have some fun shooting Ganados. It's that big, long, like industrial lift going over the cliffside or valley, and then there's all the Ganados going up the opposite end, and all it does, it takes one shot and they fall off. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, and they're throwing axes at you.
Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, Ashley, she's like behind you. Every time you knock someone off, she does like a little fist pump, like she's celebrating you. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, that was the most wholesome shit.
So before the gates, you come across a large gate that won't open, so you go somewhere else. You also come across some documentation signed by Mendez, saying that they're shifting their focus on apprehending you and Ashley because you've become more of an issue than they had originally deemed. And previously they were focused on an unknown party before you guys. That's why they weren't really throwing a whole lot at you. And that's like, I guess you could also chalk that up as to an argument as to like why like Mendez just doesn't kill you outright. Also, you have the Plagas in you, so maybe you just see some value in you. But so Leon and Ashley make their way to a barn as Leon proceeds inside while Ashley hides somewhere else outside. And then Leon is then again greeted by Mendez once again and is thrown against a support beam. But in true like fucking like action movie fashion, he kicks over a barrel of gas and shoots it with his gun, but not before saying hasta luego.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh jeez. So Mendez, now pissed, embraces his inner John Carpenter and fucking becomes some sort of 10-foot tall centipede body horror monstrosity. So with this fight, I remember being a kid playing this, and I remember seeing this, and I think this was like my first time as a kid ever seeing like body horror. Because I've never seen like really anything like that before as a kid, and so obviously, you know, me not being a kid, I didn't know what body horror was, but you know, there's obviously stuff like The Thing, which is the big, you know, inspiration behind stuff like this. But how'd this fight go for you all? How did that what was your reaction to his torso growing another fucking 5 feet?
I was kind of shocked, but not like surprised that much. Like it happening, like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I think the year is 2021 and the year of our Lord. We are nearly getting to 30 years old, and I think we've experienced quite a bit at this point. Yeah, don't think about that too hard. The fight itself went pretty well for me. Somehow I managed to like die maybe once, if at all. He like, don't you like shoot him so much that his top half comes off and he's still coming after you?
Yeah, and then he's like he's hanging off of the support beams with just his torso half, basically.
Little wily bastard, this guy. Still got his beard though.
Yeah,
that's what's important.
That's the human part. But he has a mechanical blind spot in the top right. If you're standing where Leon is standing in this photo, above and behind you is that like the second floor.
Yeah.
There's a pillar. Actually, I think it's this like cross beam structure on his right in the picture. It extends all the way up to the ceiling, and if you stand, it's kind of thin, but if you stand behind it, he does. Mendez doesn't have an animation to hurt you in that spot. Yeah. So, and he'll basically like kind of wander around in a little spot kind of below you on the right, and you can just plug away at him, and that's I think what I ended up doing for the first phase. So I think while I was playing, I was just like, if the game is going to be a bastard to me, I'm going to be a bastard to the game, and I'm just gonna I'm just gonna get away with utter nonsense.
So after defeating Mendez, a false eye falls out of his head, and so like any natural person, you would take it.
Yeah.
Ew, gross.
So ew. I'm gonna take it. You take it back up to the large gate that was previously locked, and it has some sort of optical scanner. Because I believe there's some sort of documentation that implies that that's what that is. So that's how I guess you could say Leon knows that. But Leon and Ashley are then tailed by a horde of Ganados, but not before they tried to get rammed by a fucking truck in a small corridor. I don't know if you remember this part where you go through that door and you're in a very small like pathway that's very narrow, and literally a truck just starts like barreling towards you, and you just have to shoot it a few times and it just explodes.
So I got messed up by that scene like a good 3 or 4 times because the little alcove on the right, I thought I was just supposed to stand in it as it just trundled by.
Like Mario, yeah.
Like Mario, yeah.
Oh, hey, here's a spot that I can be safe.
Get out of the way. And
it's a fucking
it killed
trap.
me. 2 or 3 times where those deaths were just like, maybe I'm supposed to stand in the very front of the alcove, the very back of the alcove, and then I died the 3rd time to it, like as far over as I could get, and it like doinks me and murders me instantly on the way through, and I'm like, okay, I need to stop asking myself what makes sense and start asking myself what a Capcom game from 2001 wants me to do. And I'm like, all right, try shooting it. And that worked the first time. I'm like, fantastic. I'm glad I wasted 10 minutes.
I noticed it whenever while I was replaying this, and it crashes and like glides into the side and you can walk past it. I noticed that there's that little nook on the side, and I was kind of wondering, I was like, can you just I was like, can you just run up to that and just let it pass you, and then does it just crash? But because I was like, because I've always just shot it, and so like I know, because a part of me's never tried it, because I was like, oh, I'll just shoot it because it's cooler. So that's funny that you guys like actually try that, but it just doesn't work. So then it's like, well, what the fuck's the point of that little nook?
Okay, so the point of the little nook is it's part of where the truck model crashes. So the little divot is so that when the truck crashes, it has enough room on the left for you to actually walk by it. So they use that nook. It's just part of the scenery, and there's nothing really to communicate. They use button prompts and QuickTime events for the most inane shit, but for that, no. Your controller's in your hand the entire time. You can do whatever you want, but there's only one right move. But we're not going to use a fucking shoot button prompt. Yeah, like Capcom.
See, so that's the part of the game where the rifle becomes less of a suggestion and becomes more mandatory, where you can use it to do some really interesting things and make your life way easier. But if you don't have it at this point, you really need to fucking buy it immediately, because you're gonna run into some
we'll get into that shit.
I ended up with some extra money when I was in the castle, and I was like, fuck it, and I bought the scoped rifle, the variant of it that the merchant guy sells in the castle. Yeah. And once I had it, I was like, oh my god, there's so many situations where I'm like, all right, this is a rifle fight. Instead of,
a lot of
just trying to use
stuff,
the pistol. Like instead of just trying to use the pistol for everything.
We'll
I think anyway, basically I'm agreeing with Ryan. Now that I've tried the rifle, I've been converted. If I do a second playthrough, I'm probably getting the rifle right away.
So after the truck crashes and you move up the path a little bit, then a horde of Ganados ends up behind you through the door that you just ended up. So then you just run away from them. You cross a bridge near a castle and together bring up the drawbridge. And so then they can't follow you, and then you're now at some sort of castle. You don't know what it is, and then that ends chapter 2.3. So then moving on to 3-1. You enter the castle, run across another merchant selling a bounty of new weapons. So this is, I believe, where you can get that semi-automatic rifle. You can also get the riot shotgun, I believe, here. Shortly thereafter, player engage with horde of Ganados as you make your way up to the main gate. This is the first big encounter you have in the castle. You come across, and there's just a long pathway up to where you need to go to a big ass gate into the castle, and then guys are literally shooting fucking boulders of fire at you. It's this area, so this is a kind of a tough area. These Ganados, however, are a whole new set of enemies. They're not your typical crusty breech-wearing villagers, but black-robed cultists with much more pale skin complexions, with some wearing red robes and even adorning goat skulls as masks or face paint, which would imply that they have some sort of higher-ranking members within these cults. Not to mention, these new enemies also wield a bevy of new weapons like scythes, flails, shields, crossbows, and can even operate catapults, like I just mentioned. Some members even wear metal helmets, so you can't shoot them in the head. But their knees still prove a valuable weak point, though. So I don't know. Okay, so I don't know because I'll get back to this later on in the episode. So the guys with the helmets, typically you want to shoot them in the knees. So this is for future reference for you guys. When you shoot a character in the knees, they actually fall to their knees. And then you get a new prompt. So typically you shoot people in the head and you'd press, whatever button it is to kick them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen this, Ryan, because it sounds like Brian hasn't. If you shoot them in the knees, they fall to their knees, right? You go up to them, you literally fucking suplex these motherfuckers.
Oh, all right.
That
sounds pretty good.
Awesome.
All right, I'm gonna do it now.
So if you come across a guy, you don't even. It doesn't need to be a guy with a helmet. Just shoot a guy in the knee and suplex his ass. It's hilarious.
I bet there's. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ryan. Yeah.
I said noted. That's all I have to say.
I was about to say, I bet if you try to suplex one of the helmet guys, there's just like a Looney Tunes metallic clang.
There is. It's
the Acme anvil noise. Bang.
Almost, because that's like almost what it sounds like when you shoot that damn helmet.
Yeah, and they don't react to it at all.
So obviously these guys are a lot more equipped, and so it like I've never kind of like really noticed it before, like when I was a kid, but it really like changes up the style a bit. Like I feel like you kind of start getting, you're like, all right, like I get it, I know the combat, and you start getting used to it. But then fighting these guys, you have to be a lot more, I don't know, I guess resourceful in who you got to take out first, what weapons you use, especially if there's fucking shield guys thrown into the mix of it. You're like, all right, I need to get rid of these guys' shields, pull out your shotgun, get rid of them, pull your pistol back out. You really got to be careful of the scythe dudes because they can really fuck you up.
Yeah.
And then, oh my god, give me 1 second. My fucking cat's crawling on the laundry thing.
It also took it was a little bit of a learning curve of finding out exactly how AI interact with each other between Ashley and the rest of the Ganados. That like there were a couple points, I think, in the big Ganado pit with the two chainsaw guys, where like I would tell Ashley to wait at the very beginning of the level, and I'd just start clearing it out and just try to make sure that nobody got past me. But like without fail, a zombie that I did not see would grab her and immediately walk her to the area transition because I told her to wait at the beginning of the level, and it just be game over immediately.
Oh no, yeah, because I enemies spawn behind you in this area, I believe.
Yeah.
So they come from the area that you came from, I think. So they literally just walk through the door. Yeah. Oh, she's right here. Pick her up. Walk away.
Oh hell yeah, dude. That it took a little bit of trying to figure out that like, hey, enemies are regularly going to spawn behind you from the area that you came from. Like literally just keep her with you, but like keep her at the beginning of the encounter rather than at the beginning of the level. So it took a little bit of understanding how exactly I was supposed to manage her AI, but that
was probably very intentionally, because I feel like lots of people do that, so they kind of like tell you like, hey, don't do that anymore, you got to keep her with you, kind of thing, or tell her to wait somewhere else or something like that,
so ended up learning how you're supposed to do that, but I kind of like the way these enemies mix it up a bit, in that like, hey, instead of the axe throwers that make a noise, the axe makes a big worry noise as it tumbles through the air, and they're really slow and easy to shoot out of the air. You have the crossbow guys, you can't shoot out of the air. They have helmets, so you can't headshot them. You just have to look over at them, and if they're pointing at you, just be ready. And the shield guys who move kind of slow, unless you're not looking at them, and then they'll fucking run you down. But a kind of problem I was having in this area was like taking hits that it seemed like when the animation started, the game just decided I was going to get hit. And where it's like I'm sprinting by somebody, and where the other enemies would grab you, and even that shit happened too, that like I would run past someone as the animation would stop like tracking, and I'd be kind of behind somebody, and the hit wouldn't land, and I'm like, old game.
Yeah.
I need to. It basically taught me, like, stop taking the coin flips. These animations are gonna lie to you. It's not worth the health. Just play the game.
So to progress from this area, you operate a cannon to blow up a big castle door, which I don't know if you guys remember. You shoot the cannon, and then the door just blows up. Like, there's no animation of like a cannonball coming out of it. It's just doo, boo. Yeah. And I always thought it was pretty funny. So
cannonballs are hit scan weapons, apparently.
Once inside, you call Hunnigan, letting her know where you have ended up, but unfortunately you lose connection to her. After you solve a simple puzzle, including switching around some swords in a wall while getting engaged by a bundle of enemies in a small enclosed room. If you haven't come across it before in the previous encounter, some enemies here reveal to have a different type of plagas. It's not the same ones as the villagers. And they attack differently too. They don't just like wildly just flail about their like weird head scythe thing. These ones actually like try to fucking eat you. So I don't know if you guys died to this thing, but it's just different, different plagas, different like type of threats to think about.
Yeah.
So these guys literally, like, if they get too close to you, they literally just bite your head off in one go, pretty much.
I think I learned at this point to stay away from
exactly
these types of enemies, because the other guys had scythe arms. Those are pretty brutal.
Yeah, they did a lot of damage. These ones, like, they have a long wind up to like for their attack, so they're pretty hard to like get hit by. But if they do hit you, it's pretty much a one hit KO.
I think these guys also look a lot like head crabs, and I think that's pretty naturally conveyed as stay the fuck away from these gentlemen.
Yeah, of the like, hey, whenever you headshot somebody, there's like a 10% chance that you make things worse and not better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's preying on your instinct to headshot kick, headshot. That guy, nope, not kicking that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna run away.
Yeah. So once outside, through that puzzle area, you run into Lewis again, who tries to give you something, but unfortunately seemed to have dropped it as he was running away from some cultists. He was trying to bring you a drug that would help stop your convulsions, because he knows that you're carriers, and because Leon and Ashley have been coughing up blood, blah, blah, blah. He also mentions because of that, the eggs inside them have hatched and they don't have much time. Ashley offers to go with Lewis for some fucking reason. I don't know why. To get the drugs, but then Lewis tells her to stay with Leon because he is, quote, better with the ladies, I'm sure. So Leon begins to ask why he is helping, why Luis, I'm saying Lewis, huh?
You said Lewis.
God damn it, dude. I know. See, like, I told you, it's in my head, because the only fucking person that says his name is Leon, so I say Lewis. Fuck. So you're just holding it back, like, pursing your lips. So as he begins to ask Luis, like, why he is helping them, he gets cut off by Luis, saying it makes him feel better. Let's just leave it at that, as he walks away waving his hand. And then that's just how that ends. So after you fight off some more cultists to gain a key to unlock a door to get into the castle even further, you then run into your first encounter with Ramon Salazar, and his two shady bodyguards with spooky mandibles. It is here you learn that Salazar is the 8th Castellan of the castle, which basically means like the governor of the castle. He's been... the dialogue between Leon and this dude are so fucking funny. He's at one point he says he's expecting us brethrens, and Leon literally just goes, "No thanks, bro."
yeah, that would be the moment.
Fucking kills me, dude.
Killed me, dude.
Oh my god.
I've seen that a couple times, like in videos separate from this, and I feel like that's probably the like number one moment out of this entire game that has survived the longest. No thanks, bro.
Oh my god. So Salazar says Leon isn't worth a penny and simply can just die before walking off. Ashley says she's determined to never become one of them, and Leon says, "You got that right. We'll find a cure." But so shortly after meeting Salazar, your path is blocked by a wall that comes up from the ground, which then proceeds to add about 3 goddamn chapters to the game because you need to fucking pass this wall.
Oh my god.
This game isn't long enough.
You are absolutely right. That wall just came up and Capcom just said, hey, this part should be 3 hours longer.
Pretty much. I love it though. So you proceed to a door on the right, which is where you first come across an enemy called the Ganador, which is an enemy with his eyes sewed shut and basically a large Wolverine dude.
Which is Spanish for horseshit.
Yeah.
That's what it is?
No.
Oh.
I'm complaining.
Oh my god, dude, you scared me. I'm so fucking dumb. I was like, what?
No,
he's gonna suck.
I'm saying he's horseshit.
Yeah, okay. Could have fooled me.
But horseshit too.
So how did this encounter go for you guys? Like, what was your
great.
What was your interaction going up to this fucking thing that was like, oh, there's a lever in his cell. I need to go.
Right. So the first encounter is the dude in the cell.
We'll get to the other one. Yeah.
Oh God, thinking about all the other encounters is giving me a tumor. I think this first one went okay. These guys, I hate them.
I remember being because I always reference whenever I played this as a kid, but I remember like, what the fuck, like this guy's eyes are showed shut, because it's kind of like back when I was a kid, like a lot of the things in this game were like the most fucked up thing I've seen in a video game. So
right,
but yeah, I remember this dude being pretty terrifying when I was a kid. It's still pretty I feel like it's like a testament to the audio design in this game, because there's lots of enemies in this game that I feel like that really sell themselves because of the audio design behind them. Even just the normal Dr. Salvador, the bad guy with the fucking chainsaw, like he sounds terrifying when he's behind you revving his chainsaw and you like realize that you almost just got your head chopped off by that thing. And same thing with this guy. Like, I feel like just his yells, his grunts, and just like, just his fucking Wolverine arms just unsheathing and stuff. Like, I feel like it just works really well and still holds up to this day to be like, tense, I guess you could say.
So one thing that sets the castle apart acoustically from the village before it is that in the village before it, the footsteps are a lot softer because you're on dirt, and the sound doesn't really it doesn't really echo, it doesn't really carry back to you. But in the castle, a lot of stuff bounces off the stone walls, and a lot of stuff will sound differently, and a lot of stuff will resonate differently in a way that's way more like claustrophobic. It's like the music in Doom going from the areas in the research centers on Mars versus the open areas in Hell. Like the way acoustically the sound just opens up when you're in the open areas. It's a kind of a similar thing in reverse here. We're going from open clear, we're going to like way more cramped, way more claustrophobic, that like the sound is also telling the story of what's happening in a way that I did not expect from a Capcom. No thanks, bro. I did not expect this game to do all of those things.
So after you defeat him, after turning off the fire that blocks the path, oh god, here it is, you enter a very large room, which is notoriously known as one of the hardest encounters in the entire game. Do you remember this fucking room?
Fuck this.
Fuck this room.
This room is notorious. Like, this is like, I want to say, if you've played Sekiro, you know how, like, or any really From Software game, there's usually always like this one boss that like tests you, where it's like, all right, like you're getting the hang of it, now fucking go against this guy, and you're like, fuck,
Now,
and
I have a straight up question.
yeah.
What happens if you don't have the rifle and you get to this room?
It becomes a lot harder, I think.
It becomes a lot fucking harder. Let me tell
I don't
you.
think it's possible.
Let me tell you, I did this room without the rifle.
Oh,
and
Christ.
Wow.
doing this room without the rifle means that like you literally can't waste a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had my shotgun out, and I only used shotgun rounds for shields, and that's it.
Yeah.
Once the shield is gone, I continue. The Benny Hill theme plays, and I continue to just run them around the room. Headshot kick, headshot kick, headshot kick. Run up and knife them. This level was just attrition.
Yeah.
This level was just, hey, do the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
But a bunch in a single room.
Mm-hmm.
And I eventually got through it. I only ever had to burn extra ammunition when because they'll flank you and the shield guys will go behind you while
the shield the shield guys in this particular
while you're trying to manage the other ones. And I ended up using like most of my grenades, a good amount of ammo,
mm-hmm.
and tanking a good amount of hits.
Yeah, it's basically like, hey guys, do you have an overabundance of ammo? Well, look no further than the water hole. Yeah. So if for any like future listeners, this is like the water hall area where you get ambushed by so many fucking people. And it's not like, oh, you just fight off a horde of enemies. You have to do a lot of shit while all this is happening.
Yeah,
so
it's multiple different kinds of enemies.
Exactly. So you fight through hordes of cultists to get down to one end of the room. You go down some stairs. You step on some pressure plates to raise a crank back up the thing. Run back up. Decide whether it's either you or Ashley that cranks down a ramp. And again, you're fighting off all these enemies while this is happening. Once the ramp is down, it unleashes a horde of cultists with scythes that run down the ramp. Take care of them, then you make your way up the ramp, hoist Ashley up onto a platform to crank some more cranks, all while protecting her and yourself from cultists. And then, after she's done, you have to run, go grab her as she jumps down, and then you jump across the platforms that were raised by the cranks without dying. Because if you die, even if you make it all the way to the end of this encounter, you fucking start all over if you die. So, yeah, this room is notorious among anyone who's played this game. Like, everyone enters this room, they're like, oh, fuck, this room, you know? So, yeah. It's not just like a one-off encounter. This is, like, I mean, I don't want to say highlight of the game. I'm kind of, like, I love this game. I love every part of it. So, like, I do kind of get excited. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, challenge, you know? But, you know,
yeah.
But, yeah, you enter this room, dude, as you can see in the picture. So there are two shield guys right there in the middle. They come up the middle. Then there's two other guys on the outside. They flank around you. And then there are two fucking crossbow dudes up there.
And there are one or two waves of additional enemies that spawn in this room.
Yeah. As you're fighting, more and more enemies start like coming out of the doors on the left and right sides. You can't go through those doors. They're just spawn rooms pretty much. But yeah, whenever I walk through this door, I immediately pull up my rifle and take care of the two crossbow guys right there at the top, and then just try to cluster them together, get some grenade kills, stuff like that. But yeah, I played this game so many fucking times, especially, but I was playing on professional, so I still died a few times. I think Ashley died a few times. I might have shot her on accident a couple of times, but. So after all that, you enter a room with the merchant that has a shooting gallery where you can play for prizes. I don't know if you guys do you guys do that at all, the shooting gallery?
No, if I got any prizes.
I did not, because in the middle of this dire situation it seemed weird to be like, hey guys, check it out. They have a Terminator Salvation cabinet, and burn like 35 minutes. So I got there and I'm like, not right now, and I moved on.
They're pretty fun. You just get, it's just collectibles. You get like bottle caps and I think some new skins maybe. I'm not even sure. But let's see. once continuing, Leon and Ashley head down a hallway where Ashley begins to cough up blood. But when Leon goes to check on Ashley, she runs away in a fit, stressed out from the whole ordeal. But then gets caught in a very cartoonish fucking trap. Yep. It's one of those things where it's literally like, okay, this trap is very set up specifically to happen in a very specific way, and it happened exactly like that.
You'd have to be a complete fucking idiot to trigger it, and she does.
I know.
Like I can imagine,
game, dude.
I can imagine the writers at Capcom writing this page and just being like,
"Oh yeah, we did it. We fucking did it."
He just congratulated themselves.
Like they're proud of themselves. Now, here's the thing.
Just clapping their hands together.
You have to know about Capcom is that, like, if you've ever played any fucking Street Fighter game, Capcom abhors story. They fucking hate story. They hate writing. They're like, oh god, this kind of has to have a story in it, doesn't it? Like, things have to happen because of reasons.
Yeah.
Capcom will do the absolute most minimum possible way to make a story. They need to. Like, the bare bones of what needs to happen will happen. Oh, Ryu fights 8 people and he meets M. Bison. Oh, fucking goddamn, it's ridiculous. And this is an example of
it's just so bottom of the barrel, but it's great. Like, you can think of it however way you want, but I just think it's fucking hilarious.
I'm not disparaging it for being like terrible, this is my video games of shit stories or anything like that. I just think it's very Capcom.
Yeah, very, very silly.
For me, there's a distinction between, like, I like it. This is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very dumb. I feel like we can admit that Ash, they're getting along really well at this point, and then she coughs up blood, and then like, hey, you good, dude?
And then she just runs away. It's like, what?
And then she runs
and then just sprints away, and then like leans against the wall, no iron bands on that wall.
Not yet. No.
There's just 6 holes. You need a place to lean. Do you lean between them if your brain is plugged in? Right?
Fuck, of course you do.
After running away from, because she's running away, the reason why they get separated is because of spikes. The spikes coming up out of the fucking wall, the ground.
Right.
Yeah, but also if you look at the geometry of the way this room is laid out, when you go in when you have control again, it's literally just a hallway. There's a locked door on your right, and it's like you're walking this way, and you cough up blood, and you're being angsty because you're probably a 14-year-old with that kind of...
I think she's like 19 or 20.
You have to... Spikes in the floor. You're going to run into the dead end?
I guess,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
okay. Let's move on.
We can talk about this all day.
Yeah, like literally just the second I started thinking about just like, wait a second. This is way dumber than I thought when I thought it was happening during the cutscene.
So that ends chapter 3.2. Not before Leon also says the famous like, "Don't worry, Ashley, I'm coming for you." Then after that, the next chapter 3-2 starts with a call. You think it's Hunnigan, but then it turns out to be Salazar once again. And I'm glad I found a fucking I found a screenshot of this because I love it. He's like, "We've jacked the line." It's so funny. I look forward to that phrase. "We've jacked the line." I love it. It's so funny.
I don't know how this dude living in this castle, this literal castle in Spain, has figured out how to intercept your comms, but he's done it.
You're so right, dude. I never even thought about that.
Who holds the title of Castellan? Like literally,
God.
he's still part
of
feudal,
goddamn liquid snake.
Yeah, just this goddamn like hacker.
You like my voice, brother?
Who hacks a piece of tech that looks like that?
Oh,
he has
man.
managed. He has managed to crack the code.
Yeah.
All right, so
to crack the code of a piece of tech used by like Secret Service, basically, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, pretty much.
like CIA type nonsense. This cheeky little bastard is just like, now I'm not.
One of
I'm going to talk to you all the time.
One of his rogue bodyguards is actually an IT grad.
Okay. No, I see.
So Salazar says something about letting out some insects for exercise in the sewers. Leon says some cheesy ass lines. Like I think he says something like, "Oh, great, because boredom kills me," or some bullshit like that.
Yeah. He's inviting him. He's being a cheeky little bastard.
And then Leon is then headed off into the sewers. In the sewers where you first come across your first encounter with the Novistadores, these insect-like creatures that were just previously mentioned. Quadruped insects, they also have the ability to camouflage themselves in any environment, and they also spit acid, which is always fun.
Remember these guys?
How did this section go for you guys?
Actually, it went pretty well. They're a little funky, but I like. You can see them when they're invisible.
Yeah, you
they're
can.
A little hard to see,
they're a
but
little
you
hard
can
to
see
see.
them.
Yeah, you basically, once you hear them start skittering around, basically just stop moving, because the camera moving and their silhouette becomes completely obscured, basically. But it's like, if you just stand still, you can see them pretty clearly.
Yeah.
And they'll usually rear a little bit before they attack you. But basically, I equipped my shotgun at the beginning of the sewer level, and I unequipped it when I was done with the sewer level.
Yeah. You go into a little prison cell in a certain part of this, and you can easily just bottleneck these dudes as they try to approach you.
Yeah, it's like a good way to take care of them. It's a safe way. When you first enter this area, you kind of walk up just like a short little corridor before you first encounter your first one, but you kind of hear on the left side there's like a little waterway that you can't access, but there's like a little waterway, and you hear like a grate, like a sewer grate being kicked open and falling down, and you hear something running up that waterway, but you don't actually see what it is. I don't know if you guys remember that, but you kind of walk up, and on the left side, you basically just hear something, and it sounds like it's coming from behind you, and like it's meant to just freak the player out, but it's a very short little thing. I'm not sure if you guys remember it, because it's very like, it happens and then it goes. But do you guys remember that at all? Doesn't sound like you.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I always thought it was cool, but then one of the best ways to take care of these guys is like they kind of just sit there camouflaged before you get close to them, so you can just take out your rifle, zoom in, and you can kind of see their drool, and so they're just sitting there drooling, and if you just shoot right above where their drool is with your fucking sniper, it kills them in one shot. So that's like an easy way to take care of them as well. But yeah, so you go through, you reduce some water levels to get access, and so some of these guys you have to face head on. If they try to attack you from the ground and not like on the walls, there's actually a small window where you can like press a button and kick them away as they fly towards you guys. I don't know if you were able to successfully do that.
I just had a shotgun, man.
Yeah. I just did the gun.
Blasted them. Basically, if they run towards you on the ground, they kind of have like a little wind up leap attack, but there's like a small like half a second window where a little prompt pops up, and you press it, and you just do like a spin kick at them as they jump towards you, and it's kind of cool. But so in one of the cells in there, because you are in a cell area, you can find a memo left by Luis. Basically, it's just research that he's basically done on the Las Plagas, and like parallels that he's drawn with other parasites that are similar to them in the wildlife. Kind of like almost like the cordyceps virus as you from like the Last of Us series.
Yeah.
So you make your way back up through the castle to find a large congregation of cultists doing some sort of ritual. I don't know if you remember this. There's literally like 10 of them doing like a ritual around some sort of like sword in an altar or some shit. But if you don't,
Oh yeah, I remember this.
yeah,
That's a grenade.
yeah, exactly. If you throw a grenade, because they all run away from you if they see
Yeah.
you. But if they don't see you, you can throw a grenade at them and kill like all of them, and every single one of them drops a spinel or a spinal, however the fuck you call it. I don't know what you call it. And so then you can literally pick up like 12 spinals or some shit and like sell all of them, so you can get some good cash with that. So, continuing on, you go through some regal looking halls, and you actually find a memo that was written by Salazar, and it actually goes in depth and in detail as to why he's helped Sadler and brought about the Las Plagas parasite. Did you guys come across this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I actually want to read this memo because it actually provides actually a good amount of like story as to who Salazar is and why everything started around here. So I'm actually going to read this. So this is Salazar's memo. This is what he wrote. He says, "For many years, the Salazar family has served as the castellans of the castle. However, not everything is bright, for my ancestry has a dark past. Long ago, there once was a religious group that had deep roots in the region called the Los Illuminados. Unjustly, however, the first castellan of the castle took away their rights and powers. As a follower of this religion and as the 8th castellan, I felt that it was my duty as well as my responsibility to atone for that sin. I knew the best way to atone for that sin was to give power back to those that we once took it away from, the Los Illuminados. As expected, it took a little time, but we were able to rejuvenate the once sealed Las Plagas. With this success, I was one step closer to the revival of the Los Illuminados. The reason why I released the Las Plagas deep from under the castle and gave them to Lord Sadler was not only to repay for the sins of my ancestors, but I felt that certain that the Lord would make better use of this power to help save the world. To save those that have sinned with the power of the Las Plagas and to cleanse their souls, creating a world without sinners, the way it was meant to be. Once cleansed, they will become one of the many Ganados where they will find their reason to live. And after the Lord has succeeded in creating the world in which he has envisioned, then the sins of my Salazar family will be atoned for." So that's the memo that he wrote. And so I felt that was just a cool memo because back when I was a kid, I didn't really read any of these things. So replaying them now, I found that, there's actually like, there actually is a purpose to what Salazar is and what's going on. He's not just some weird little dude that's just in your way, basically. So
I mean, he is both of those.
Yeah,
things.
he is. But that's not all he is.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool. And then also from that, you do learn that the Las Plagas was it was sealed for some reason. You know that it was sealed off. You find out that it was below.
It was sealed off. It was sealed off for some reason. Yeah, a real mystery.
Yeah. And you do find out that it was sealed beneath the castle. So you're just gaining some little tidbits of story information that you will eventually run into. But yeah, so I just wanted to read that to you guys. Then later you enter a small room where you chase a robed cultist, and if you don't reach him or don't kill him as he takes you on a loop, he ends up popping up on a fucking chain gun turret. I don't know if you remember this.
Okay, hang on. I'd like to fight you on that. Mm-hmm. You cannot kill him before he gets to the turret.
You can.
Can you? Really?
I didn't think you could, but I did it this playthrough.
I have footage of me sinking shotgun shell after shotgun shell after rifle shot after rifle shot, and he keeps getting up and continuing to run.
Really? Oh, wow.
I do not believe that you can kill him before he gets to the chainsaw.
Okay, but I didn't think so, but it happened. For me, it did at least.
Really?
Yeah, okay, so you enter a small room, basically, kind of squarish.
I bet he was fucking like one hit then. I bet I could have thrown an egg to fucking get the kill shot.
Speaking of eggs, I don't know if you ever noticed, if you equipped an egg, you actually have the eggs equipped on your fucking belt. Like there's literally eggs like on your fucking belt. It's so sick. But So you enter like a small little like square area, and he's running away from you. You go up a room, and then you end up on the second level, and I believe he's like near a door, but you can't. He's near one door, and you have to go through another door to get down to him, but the door is locked. So you have to jump down to his level. But when you jump down to his level, he exits through another door, runs back up past you, around, down, and then into the chain gun area. But so
I think it's like like a cutscene or something.
Yeah, it just shows a short cutscene of him like running.
The moment that you jump down, he runs back behind you.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, you piece of shit.
Yeah. So
and I ended up like ignoring the enemies to find him because I wanted to gun him down, and it did not happen.
So
it's in my recording somewhere. I could find it.
So you jump down. I remember this is what I did. I jumped down. I killed the two. There's two regular guards. Jumped down, killed them. Go back through the door that he escaped through, go up the stairs, but when he runs away from you, he doesn't continuously run away, from my experience at least. So I run back up the stairs, and you see him on the second floor running away, and he's like across the room for you. I pulled out my sniper, zoomed in, and I got a lucky headshot on him right before he ran through the door frame, and his fucking head exploded, and he was dead. And so I was like, oh, sick. I can kill him. So I didn't have to deal with the whole bullshit of him popping up in the fucking chain gun and having to kill him and grabbing the key to get through the door.
I feel bad because I don't remember what room this is in.
It's very small. It's not like a huge set piece. It's just kind of just like a little encounter that you end up just getting through. It's just, fodder.
This
filler.
Isn't that room where you have to walk across a narrow crossway with a bunch of enemies on it?
No, not that one.
Left. Okay.
No,
okay.
Yeah. That's a little bit ahead.
It kind of reminded me of like a courtroom almost.
Almost.
It had
kind of.
It had like white. It had white walls, and it had like these weird square like pulpits that were framed in wood, and like one whole side of the room has like a wood facade. I'm sifting through my footage to find.
Yeah,
I want to show you how many times I shot this son of a bitch.
It does kind of look like a courtroom, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it reminded me of. When I walked in the room, like, this feels like we're in Western Europe, but that was the vibe that I got.
After solving a puzzle that involves rotating some paintings, you have to get 6 sacrifices. There's 4 paintings. You just rotate them in a certain order. It's 6 sacrifices. Here you come across the Salazar once again. Here you find out he's only 20 years old. Obviously, so the Las Plagas has definitely either aged him or made him look older. But he has complete control over his parasite in his body but they exchange unpleasantries, and then Leon gets ambushed by both cultists with sights and fucking RPGs. So
yeah, that's right.
This area is pretty funny because it's a big square room, and then there's some stairs where you go around some other square rooms. I believe this is the area where there's a bunch of crossbow wielding cultists, but they run away from you constantly. They don't let you get near them at all. But there are oil lanterns above them. You can shoot them to burn them. And then there's some more other fucking there's literally a painting that opens up, and there's 2 fucking cultists with RPGs behind it, and they shoot RPGs at you.
Yeah, they show up for a hot half second to shoot an RPG at you, and then they either hit you or they miss you, and then they fuck off forever. Basically.
Yeah, because pretty much it's they have 1 shot. They don't have more than 1, but whatever.
It's a death trap.
Yeah. After that, you make your way outside across some walkways before entering the infamous hedge maze area.
Oh, yep.
This is literally the only fucking picture I could find of this really low res picture, but whatever.
Nah, it's perfect actually.
So, Leon must find his way through the maze while fighting off dozens of parasitic dogs to find 2 parts of an emblem to continue on into another room. How'd this encounter go for you guys?
I'm fine. The shotgun does really well in this situation.
Yeah, the shotguns are like the best things against the dogs. I remember this area being pretty nerve-wracking as a kid, just because the dogs always... Because I remember playing the old Resident Evil games as a kid, or not so much playing them. Actually, well, I think I did play them a little bit, but I never, like, finished them. But I also remember my first, like, real, I guess you could say, experience with Resident Evil was watching my older brother play the first game. I remember he rented it on Blockbuster, and I remember I would just like be hiding under a blanket watching him play Resident Evil. And I remember the dog scenes. The dog scenes were always like the most terrifying because I don't know. I don't know. Fucking zombie dogs are always terrifying.
Come on, man. Zombie dogs.
Yeah.
Fucking
so
freaky.
I remember playing this game in 4th or 5th grade and like going, oh fuck, just like dogs like all over the fucking place. I remember that being pretty nerve-wracking. But, so yeah, you go through the maze, kind of a cool little set piece area that you go through. After the maze, you get a cutscene with a woman, which you know already as Ada. Yep. Ada comes up behind you with a gun. Leon then quickly turns around, grabs a gun, but then there's some quick, cool, slow-mo action scene where, like, Ada, like, fucking somersault kicks the gun into the fucking air, and it's all like slow motion, and Leon grabs his knife and she catches the gun midair. For the time though, like this whole section, even though it's very cheesy, like the camera work and the animation and all that is actually really fucking well made, especially when it shows there's a small little part at the end of the slow motion thing where she's in mid somersault and she catches her gun and spins it around to get back to Leon. To this day, I think it's still very well like directed and animated and all that. So I just want to shout out to that. But Leon gets to her first with his knife. His next line apparently is an Aliens reference. He says, "Bit of advice: try using knives next time. Works best for close encounters." Apparently, that's an Aliens reference.
That's really specific.
Yeah, apparently. I've only seen the first Alien movie. I've never seen Aliens. I've seen bits and pieces of Aliens. I've never seen the whole movie, though. But apparently, I think that line is from the Aliens reference, because while going through making the script for this game and all that, the outline, I've kind of just been watching... There's a streamer called Maximilian Dude.
I know that guy.
Yeah, he's a big fighting game community guy, but Resident Evil 4 is one of his favorite games ever as well.
I watched him play an awful lot of the Avengers.
Really? That's funny.
Oh no.
He played a decent amount of it and was fairly positive on it.
Yeah,
that man
most of the time he was playing it.
He's friends with Dr. Doom in real life. Dr. Doom has finger lasers. Yeah.
So I was kind of watching, like, when I'm writing a script, I'm kind of like just basically going through his playthrough and just kind of like, oh, okay, and like, writing like out the scenes and all that. But
this happens here, this happens here.
Yeah. So, but during this scene, he said like, oh, and he was like, Aliens reference, cool. So, but and Aliens is literally Max's favorite movie of all time. He literally named his newborn daughter Ripley. Sorry.
Ripley.
So I'll trust his word on it. But yeah, I don't know, just something cool. So after Leon somehow still doesn't know that it's Ada until she takes her glasses off. He refers to
it's so dumb.
I know
I love it.
He refers to some rumors about her working with Wesker. Wesker's from the first game. I'm sure you guys know that, but he turns out to be a bad guy, blah blah blah. She drops her glasses on the ground as they're talking. And her glasses are upside down, but it says "about to explode" on the lenses. Dude, like, I laughed so hard at that. I was like, why does it like it could say like initiating self-destruct sequence, but instead it fucking just says "about to explode"? I don't know.
I am assuming it is a weird localization
It
thing.
might be. I don't know. It's so funny though.
It makes me think that there's like multiple localization teams, some of which are more capable or competent than others.
Yeah.
About to explode. Yeah, that's real
It's
weird.
funny. So she continues to be vague with Leon, but then her glasses explode. It's more of kind of like a flash grenade that blinds Leon, and then she takes the opportunity to somersault away, grab her gun, and jump out the window before saying "see you around." And that ends chapter 3.3. So, moving on, after your encounter with Ada into chapter 3-3, you move into a dining hall area where you then participate into some weird ass mini game where you fucking hit a bell and shoot a wine bottle off of a picture down a hallway. Like, who the fuck made this castle is my question.
Capcom.
I don't think I did this. I don't know if I ever got this minigame.
No, you have to. In order to progress, you have to do it.
Okay. It's a puzzle to progress.
Yeah. This is literally
it's not a minigame.
Yeah,
it's mandatory.
It's literally right before a scene that I know you know. But basically, you press a little bell. There's down like this hallway, a little like painting flips over. There's a bottle on it, and then you shoot.
Oh, and you gotta shoot the little bottle.
Shoot the bottle,
yeah,
and then you can see at the end of the hallway, there's the gate, the door that's blocked by iron bars. It unlocks. Those bars.
Don't go in there, Leon.
I know. You know exactly where this is going. So, once you enter the unlocked room, you're greeted with a nice chest atop a pedestal. But as you reach it, a fucking cage is dropped around you, and a Ganador drops into the small enclosed space with you, while other cultists surround the fucking cage. There's
other cultists with like crossbows outside.
Yeah, and they're like shooting you as this is happening. Dude, it's a fucked up situation. I think I died in this part like 6 times because like the Ganador like kills you in one hit.
This is the easier of the encounters with these guys. Like,
oh yeah, don't get into that, but that's way later. We'll get there. But yeah, this part's so fucked up. Because also, he drops in with you, but then there's also one cultist that drops in within you as well. And he has no weapons. So his purpose is literally to just, like, grab you. So the Ganador can get closer to you. So... how did this counter go for you, Brian?
I dislike how much damage he does.
Dude, it's bad.
Because it's like, all right, we're gonna trap you in. I'm thinking like a game designer. We're gonna trap you in. No room to maneuver. No room to run. There's an object in the middle, and there's a bunch of corners. So when you, unless you're facing diagonally, when you back A to do the 180, you still have to move to look. And he's really fast. And there's the other cultist who's gonna grab you half the time. And this dude does more than half your health in a single hit. I was getting so
professional, dude. Like, because like as on the screenshot that I'm showing, this particular character has a full health bar.
Full health.
At this point, if it's your first playthrough,
possible health.
If it's your first playthrough, you do not have a full health bar at this point. It's probably like
this is a new game plus.
It's thing. Maybe 3/4 of the way, maybe not even that. But on I would say professional difficulty, which is what I was playing on, dude, your head gets lopped off in one fucking hit, even when I had like full health with like 3/4 of my health bar. It's insane.
Yeah. So this fight was kind of frustrating because it's like, holy shit, this is. I think I'm about to start to get actually mad that it was like, aren't there also like dudes on the outside whose weapons will clip through the cage to hit you? I was just mad at all the bullshit that was happening to me at once, and I was like so proud of myself that I had managed to stash up resources, grenades, ammo, and health. Like I had a couple of full restores, and I think I might have had. Okay, so the part in the sewer where you drain the water out to run past, there's a ladder you can actually go down into the pit that you drained, and there's a couple fish. And I remember taking the fish, and I felt so proud of myself. I was breezing through this area so far that I was just like, man, I have full resources. I got plenty of ammo. I got fish. I got healing items. I got grenades. And I get into this area, and I lose a lot of ammo, and I lose basically all of my healing items because I'm trying to deal with the fucking dickheads outside. So I like pop one, and then I take a hit from Wolverine, and I'm like, God damn it, I got no health. I'm not going to survive another hit, so I have to heal because there's no point in staying at low health if I'm not gonna take the hit. If I'm not gonna tank it, I have to heal, and all I have is the full restore.
Yeah.
So I use another full restore, and then like just the amount of resources this specific encounter took was just so
Yeah,
ludicrous.
I know.
I got upset.
Yeah, and you have to like one of the best like things to do is to. I think what I did is I would pull out like an incendiary grenade, try to hit the Ganador and the cultist in there with you with that grenade, and then take that time to like shoot the shit out of the lock out of one of the doors and get out of the thing so I can deal with the outside dudes. And the Ganador is most of the time not like smart enough to find his way outside the open door. So then you can kind of just deal with the other guys while he just kind of stuck in there and doesn't really know what to do, and then you take care of him.
So I shotgun blasted the door like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, the lock! What fucking nonsense!
And it didn't break. So I'm like, okay, there must be some other part of the puzzle. So I literally
that's exactly what I thought.
I ran around this little room. I completed the combat encounter inside the cage. The whole thing.
Wow.
Because
and then you think like, oh, is there something I'm not getting? Like clearly I've done everything.
What's wrong? Like I shotgun blasted both doors multiple times and they didn't break. So I figured, okay, I have to try something else. And then I looked it up and it's just, oh no, you just shotgun blast the door. And I'm like, okay. And I blasted it one more time.
And it fell out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that pissed me the fuck off. I was like, dude, what?
Damn.
Are you serious?
I just used my pistol just so because you can just shoot it like a shit ton of times like really fast.
Yeah, so the little locks that were on the doors or like the chains that you'd blast off, this is a big like heavy like medieval like cast iron lock. So I was like, okay, maybe something a little beef. Like I don't know, my brain just maybe something a little beefier. So I ended up shotgun blasting it and it just like jostled a little bit and showed no damage. I'm like, okay, I'll do something else then.
That sucked.
I'm sorry
that happened to you.
Keep trying the thing that didn't look like it was working. So I Capcom, thanks.
All right. Well, after this infuriating encounter, you then head into a gallery where you fight some cultists. This is the one that you were talking about, Ryan, where it's kind of like that, that thing that raises up, basically like a platform, a long like platform that you walk across, and enemies like kind of corner you on it. But before you raise that, you actually come across a new type of plaga, where it's basically just like a giant spider that's coming out of the dude's head. This is the first room you encounter it. This is literally the only fucking picture I could find of it on the internet. So sorry for the.
So I encountered this kind of parasite in the room that had the Wolverine.
Oh, really?
One of the cultists who was in the cage with me, I popped him and it turned into this.
Oh my god!
And then I killed him and then I killed a couple of other cultists and I was turning around to loot and the parasite popped out of his body and I was like, oh my god!
So this is literally the only fucking picture I could find of it. This very pixelated JPEG, which is really weird. I don't know why, but
I kind of like it. You could have zoomed in more.
I could have. But yeah, I just figured it's kind of like a unique plaga. I remember definitely like seeing this for the first time as a kid, and like, you know, like I said, first experience with body horror as a kid, you know. So I was like, what is this? This is insane. And then it pops off and it's just like its own little like enemy that like chases you. It's pretty gnarly shit for a little kid to see. But anyway, so you continue on. And then this is, let's see, after you fight your way through, gaining a free rocket launcher. You find a rocket launcher in like a glass case if you come across that. And then you enter a room where you run into Luis, but unfortunately this is the last time you're going to be running into Luis. Luis appears behind you with something in his hand, but something sticks Luis in the back and sticks him all the way through the chest. Wait, wrong picture.
No, right picture.
There we go. Let's see.
Cowboy.
There it is again.
That's a good like censored version, YouTube safe, hopefully, version of it.
Dude, no, I was literally just looking up like images of this scene and like that came up, and so I was like, I have to put it in here.
I have
to put it in.
I bet there's a drawing edit that makes SpongeBob look like Luis. I bet. It's floating around somewhere.
So, I noticed on this picture right here on the spike that's going through Luis's chest, it looks like there's like hieroglyphs like on the spike. Does it not?
Yeah, like carvings or
Yeah,
runes.
it's weird. I don't know if that's just like intentional but I don't know. So
I don't even remember who stabs Luis. It's not Sadler, is
so
it?
we get through.
It is Sadler.
Yeah, so stabs to his chest, it lifts him up into the air and he drops the vial that he had in his hand. Then he gets thrown to the ground very violently. And then the camera follows the large tentacle as it retracts and it goes up the robe and it goes up a robe and it's revealed that it's Sadler's robe and it reveals that it was his penis the entire time. No, just kidding.
Bum, bum, bum.
So Sadler says something about having the sample back and how Leon will share the same fate before walking off. Leon starts to give chase, but realizes he needs to take care of Luis, as I guess he tries to, maybe. So Leon tries to help Luis, says that he was a researcher hired by Sadler, but Sadler soon figured out what he was up to. Luis then gives... God damn, my fucking cat. Go away. Luis gives Leon a drug to suppress the effects of the parasite and says that Sadler took the sample and he needs to get it back pretty much before passing away. And then we get another iconic scene of, the stereotypical camera panning away upwards, as someone screams their name and he screams, Lewis! Of course, wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Of the like, how much did you care for him really? Where you literally didn't pronounce his name correctly a single time it came out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Louis. No, not Lou.
So
pronouncing it like it's French.
So
Louis!
that ends chapter 3.3-3. So Luis unfortunately has perished. And then we move on to chapter 3-4. So in that same room, Ashley is actually below. Let's see. Actually below, and
believe it or not,
still
this is a different room.
Yes.
The two shots are very, very similar. But this is a different
room. Let's see. She's still trapped in there, obviously, but in order to free her, you have to shoot the bindings out. You can kill her. If you accidentally shoot her, she will fucking die. You then need to protect her from a horde of cultists that are after her. And then after you do that, she obtains a key from one of the cultists and escapes through a door. And then the player is surprised to find out that this is a section where we actually play as Ashley. So as Ashley, you run past and avoid cultists chasing you. You can defend yourself by throwing oil lanterns. You can also escape them by crawling under tables as well. So what was your impression when the game loaded and popped up and the camera was behind Ashley, and then there's the health bar, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm playing as Ashley.
I believe there was a moment last episode where Brian mentioned a portion where he looked at the screen and moaned for a solid 45 seconds. That was me.
Oh, no, it was... as in, like, fetch quest!
As in, like, I'm playing as fucking Ashley with no gun?
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Yeah. I was like, wait. I got excited at first. I'm just like, wait a second. But no.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what does she have in her inventory? Nothing.
Yep.
Great.
The best part is the TV trope's hope spot, where you get a box of 25 pistol rounds. Like, oh, okay, maybe I'll get a pistol. No, you're a mule.
Yep.
You get the pistol rounds for Leon.
Yep. So, like this section isn't very long. I do kind of like this section for particular. Not. What?
No, like it's not very long, but
it's not very long.
It's a good like a pace break. It's a
I like it, especially with things that happen later. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
so
like finding Ashley at the very beginning. I was dreading it, but it turned out to just not be that bad.
So
it's not that bad, but what pisses me the fuck off are the goddamn knights in armor.
We'll see. We'll get to that.
The you must quick time event in order to pass.
There's so many of them, man.
That felt gratuitous after the third one.
The next area you go, you open some gates in a special order to get through them all. You know, the type of puzzle where you press one, it opens one door but closes another. You have to put things in certain order, so that type of thing. So then you make your way through a dark corridor with some suits of armor and solve a puzzle that involves switching around some tiles, you know, kind of like those games for kids. To make an image of an emblem before inserting the missing piece that you've picked up before. And then it's here that you get a chest where you get the final piece to the big door. Well, not the final piece, I don't think, but one of them. I think it's maybe the second one. And then as you pick it up, you know, you hear something unleash or something unlock, and then literally you turn around and there's just like a horde of knights just coming through the fucking door, coming at you. I remember being a kid and going like, "Ooh!" like just freaking out because these knights were just coming at me, and they set the tone too. You're in a dark area, you're holding a flashlight, you can't defend yourself, and almost feels like basically almost like Silent Hill in a way.
Yeah, there's an amnesia aspect to it where you can't defend yourself and you got dudes running at you.
Yeah. So in my recording, I'm sitting there like, man, it's kind of a waste to have all these suits of armor with weapons and shit, not have them like at least one of them like fall accidentally. And then I put that out into the universe, and the monkey paw curled, and they were all sprinting at me 30 seconds later. But hang on. I just wanted to ask you guys a question real fast. Do you think that they're cursed? That you think it's magic?
Yeah,
or do you think
will be
cultists are in the suits of armor?
It will be answered.
Being really quiet.
That will be answered later on. You'll see.
I got an answer for you, but I'm sure the answer and what I think they are probably the exact same.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to.
I mean, it's not like explicitly answered, but it's implied. You'll see later.
Okay.
All right. So,
because of the implications.
So yeah. Fucking suits of armor basically just start chasing you. So as you run away, you dodge other suits of armor that take you by surprise. You basically dodge them by falling backwards. And then you make your way back to a room when there was like a little thing that you turn, but it was missing a piece. So that's where you got one of the pieces from. Insert it, turn it, opens up a secret passage. You run up some corridors and you end up right back where Leon is. So very short chapter. And that's the ender, and right there, that's the end of chapter 3-4, and that's gonna be as far as we go today on this episode. What do you guys think so far?
I think the crazy pills are coming out, and I'm looking forward to like when Sadler comes out and shreds Lewis, and I thought about it. I was like, wait a second. He came from the door that I came. They both came from the door that I came from.
I know.
And I like, wait a second. And I just turn around and just like, they were right behind us. They came out of that door right as we went through. And then I had to remember this is a Capcom game. So it's like what happens in a cutscene is basically a different universe where logic, reason, consistency are just meaningless words. They don't have any impact on reality. Yeah. So, which is one, a video game thing, but two, a Capcom thing in particular.
All right. So I left off with a little treat for you guys at the very end.
Okay.
This is hilarious. Let's check it out.
Oh wow! Well, goddamn.
Yep, there's that. So remember I told you guys can shoot the knees and then suplex them, right?
No, that logic does not track here.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
no. Here it is.
No.
Let me finish.
No. It's a coding thing.
Hit him in the knee with this door.
No, yeah, exactly. So
no, it registers a hit.
yeah. So here's the thing.
Here's a hit, but anyway.
All right. So
yes,
when they fall to their knees, obviously you do suplex. So the game's coded to where if you kick a door into someone, they fall on their knees, or they can like just get damaged or fall back. So sometimes they fall on their knees. Obviously, the developers never thought that you would be able to get an enemy on their knees in the Ashley segment, but someone found out a way to do it. And so the game was still coded to be able to do a suplex, even though you're playing as Ashley.
Yeah. So
kind of incredible.
So Ashley has all the prompts that Leon has. Leon probably has all the prompts that Ashley has. It'd be really funny to see his character do the crawling under the table animation. But they just limit they redesign the environment so that you can only ever do the prompts as one of the other.
Exactly.
Like I'm sure that if you just dropped Leon's model into the Ashley section, you'd be able to do with his animations and everything. You'd be able to pick up the lantern and throw the lantern and do the crank thing and crawl under the table. You'd probably be able to do all the same things because it's just easier than than designating two different models with two different item sets with two different it's easy to do it this way. But
the reason
that's watching her do the suplex. I wonder if her getting up from the suplex animation, it's probably the same one. It's probably the same one that
he does the thing. She does the thing where he fucking like does like the hand on the thing and like flips himself up. But the camera is a little wonky. But the reason why the image is very fucking like pixelated is because you can only do this on the North American GameCube version. So it was patched. They patched it in other in other iterations, like even the PlayStation 2 version. But it only works on the North American GameCube version. So it's just a little fun like Easter egg, basically, that I've basically found out about, and I wanted to share with you guys because I thought it was really fun. So I didn't want to play it again.
Got it.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I wonder why they patched it out. I wonder why they went through the effort of patching it, re-releasing it, and fixing it. I want to know why all the time, effort, money, labor that went into fixing that. I want to know why they thought it was a good idea.
Who knows? Maybe they meant to patch it. Well, actually, no, because the game literally first released on the GameCube, and that was the only version. So yeah, any versions after that they patched it. So
any further iterations had to incorporate. Okay, so it might have just been in a number of bug fixes that were getting released. That like, okay, this is the first version of the game. It's coming out. It just needs to be released. There are some bugs in it, but none of them are game breaking. So we're just going to leave it. We have already fixed it in further iterations of the game. But I also want to know why they thought it was worth fixing. Like, is this a problem that in a very specific circumstance in a very specific part of the game, people playing as Ashley can suplex an enemy? Like, is that worth? Like, no, we have to fix that. Like, what part of game design? This is also old game design, so maybe lady in skirt ain't allowed to suplex.
It's like, no, this game's too serious. We can't have her suplexing.
yeah, exactly.
Hasta luego. No thanks, bro. Lewis! Like, this is the game where reality needs to be consistent, and the girl's not allowed to
yeah.
This is where we're gonna die on this hill.
All right, guys. So the next episode, we are going to be playing up to. You will be finishing chapter 4-4. That'll be what we'll be playing up to.
4-4.
Yeah, so the next set of, basically the next chapter, but all, it's sub chapters and all that. And then from there, after that, the episode after that, episode 4, that should be the last one for the main story. And then later on, we'll discuss if we want to dip our toes in any extra side stuff that unlocks after the game is beaten. But we'll talk about that another time. But so, yep, next time 4-4, and let's see. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, I remember. I'm trying to remember what happens in this chapter. So it's gonna be a good one. It'll be a good one, guys. Bro, Ryan, you're already a little bit into it. I saw.
Yeah, I am. Try not to give too much away because I have gotten a little bit into 4.
Yeah,
Man, it's been a long time. I feel like if I were to give specifics, it would tell some things. So I'll leave that for another time.
Of course. So, yep, can't wait to talk to you guys about it. So thank you guys for being here again, and also thank you to any listeners who are stopping by and experiencing this with us. I'm assuming most listeners would be, people who have already played the game and are enjoying hearing other people's perspective about it who haven't played the game. So it's always fun to, the feeling. Whenever you guys know the feeling. Whenever you have a favorite game and then you show your friends and you love talking about it because you have someone new to talk about one of your favorite games.
Yeah.
So thank you to any listeners stopping by, and I don't know if any of this stuff is going to be on any podcast services like Spotify or Apple Music as of yet. So if anyone, it's going to be on YouTube. That's where we'll mainly be posting. Yeah. But if there is any, I know for a fact I'll try to get it on Spotify. I'll try to get it on Apple Music. I don't know if it will be right away, but yeah, go ahead.
So Apple Music and Spotify have a couple of hoops that you need to jump through before you can start uploading your own stuff. The easiest one, lowest barrier to entry, is SoundCloud.
Of course, yeah, we'll do that too.
You can basically just throw the file up there, and I'm not sure about mid-roll ads for long files, but that's usually the one that I recommend. You don't need the account to listen. Like for not necessarily low effort or the production, but just low pain. I would suggest SoundCloud.
Yeah. So if there's any other place that you like to put us on, and just let us know in the comments if anyone is watching this. And again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Video Game Book Club podcast. If that's even the name, I'm still deciding on the name. This is very work in progress, but thanks for sticking it with us, guys. All right, guys, I'll see you next week, and I can't wait to keep talking to you about it. I hope you guys have fun.
Take care, everybody.
Catch you next time.
Goodbye.